Hello. Lately, in order to keep myself and my coding skills limber, I've been taking on various challenges. One such challenge is the ability to smoothly transition objects between sprites and tiles. You see this sort of thing happening in a lot of games where you're picking up blocks and moving them around. So I decided to throw my hat in the ring and try and make a script for myself to do that. So I created a quick script just for testing purposes so I can test it at different angles. I made a little script that launches these sprite objects at various speeds and angles just to have them bounce around. Now the bouncing I had to fix because out of the box Nesmaker has a bit of an issue with the switching directions when you're looking at the edge reaction scripts. So that was a quick fix there. Now, because sprites can move freely around the screen, but tiles are locked into a 16 by 16 grid, one of the first things I wanted to make sure of that there was no snapping, there's no warping of the object. I wanted the transition between object and tile to be as smooth and seamless as possible. So I did two things. I made sure, first of all, that the only time an object will transform into a tile is if it's directly aligned with that 16 by 16 grid. Now, of course, objects don't normally stop moving on a 16 by 16 grid, so I had to go into the physics and adjust that. So instead of completely stopping in a bad spot, it'll keep moving once it gets beyond once it gets slow enough to stop. It'll keep moving until it gets into that locked in position. I also do some checks to make sure that it's above a solid tile, but that doesn't always work properly, I found. Now the only issue I seem to run into is if I have too many objects being thrown around at the same time and they occupy the same space. So to prevent objects from just staying there forever locked inside another tile, I just set them on an action timer to delete themselves if they sit too long without locking in. Now overall, everything went pretty smoothly. I didn't have to do a lot of optimizations, too much tweaking of the physics. It wasn't necessary. And even slowdown is minimal. When I start even spamming the start button, I can get a lot of blocks going at the same time. There's a couple of times you'll notice where they overlap when one of the tiles gets created, so the other one has to delete itself. So it's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way that the tiles slide into place and how seamless it is between sprite, object, and tile. And it came together pretty cleanly.